Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Does it sound like fun? You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder.
Right then guys, so we are currently sat in an 840i M Sport Convertible. Nice little pleasure to be able to have a go at him on something like this. So the reason being, my dad's M2 has broken down. The car itself is only 1,500 miles. M2 competition, beautiful car. There will be another video coming on that at some point when he lets me. But yeah, so his M2 has got what looks to be an ECU fault. So at the moment he has a courtesy car, which is an 840i, which, if I'm honest with you, when he first got given it, yeah, it's not the smallest of cars, shall we say. It is also, it's hard to say really. An 8 Series convertible at the best of times it appeals to a very finite market, in my opinion, and obviously it's a replacement for the 6 Series coupe convertible variant. I've been in the passenger seat only for 20-30 miles, but by God, that B58 engine, it's absolutely stunning. What an absolute masterpiece. I mean, obviously that engine is shared with the 340i and, you know, load of other 40i variants. Yeah, it's an absolute masterpiece. I mean, BMW, to me, I mean, obviously I own a 3-litre twin-turbo diesel 335D Touring. The 3-litre engine in BMW world, they're just the masters at it. I don't think, I mean, obviously, you know, please in the comments below, tell me, name me a better 3-litre straight 6 engine or flat 6 engine, because the torque in this thing is absolutely phenomenal. It's a 2-ton car, and yeah, it's honestly amazing. I am absolutely blown away by this car. This car itself is an £82,000 list. It's got about £5 worth of options on it. It's around the £87,000 on the road, obviously before any discounts or any you know, form of deal that you're going to get from the dealership. But yeah, I think as a sort of a GT Grand Tourer long distance type car, it's comfortable. I mean, I'm sure from the, you know, shots I'm going to get from the outside, it just looks brilliant. And you know, I'm not necessarily a BMW fanboy as much as, like I say, Mr. Joe Achilles, Lord BMW himself, but I don't think the brand can do much wrong. I mean, obviously, you know, we've had this massive thing over the big grills and everything like that. I'll tell you one thing, this car is very wide, but yeah, the grills have been a massive talking point recently, especially on the likes of the 7 Series. You know, you don't see many of them anyway, but yeah, the likes of the new M3, the new M4. I mean, when we picked this car up and we dropped the M2 off, went back to take the keys in, yeah, there was an M4 demo that was parked up outside at our local BMW dealership, and also a gentleman bought an M3, the new M3 saloon back as well. So all in all, looking at that car as it is at the moment, I'm a big fan. The photos itself just doesn't do it justice one bit, or them justice one bit. The grills on the M3 and M4 in photos, nah, don't do it for me at all. In the flesh, when I think it's more about probably the colour. I mean, the M3 was in black. It didn't really hit it off to me. You need, you know, not a bright colour, but like say a blue and or something to just show the distinguishing marks, the distinguishing, you know, the vents, the flared arches, everything like that. And by God, you know, the M4 was in white and it just looked fantastic. I mean, personally, the front number plate is probably the one thing that really lets it down. And obviously in the UK we have to run front number plates, it's the law. But obviously if you have a look at the American market and the American owners of the new M3 and the new M4, they don't have to run them and they look amazing. So yeah, it's so that's, you know, the grills. But coming back to this 8 Series, it's so comfortable, it's so plush. I mean, obviously the spec on this car, it's got cooled seats, it's got absolutely everything. I'm just looking around to try and find something it hasn't got. It's got heated steering wheel, radar guided cruise control, all the leather on the dash. It's just, honestly, BMWs of late are just so well put together. Obviously, you know, this is coming on the back of what the M2. It had done 1,500 miles. It's not like it's been used and battered and tracked and everything. It's my dad's little garage queen. He absolutely loves that car. It's got all the M Performance carbon bits on it. It's all PPF'd by PW Pro in Mansfield. Shout out to Paul, absolute legend. Yeah, it's his little baby. And just getting the phone call off of him at, I think it was 7 o'clock at night. I've just put my littlest to bed, and yeah, I just got a call saying I've broken down. But he was just like, I'm stuck on Huntingdon Street in the middle of the road. I was like, oh, Jesus. Have you rang, you know, have you rang roadside assistance or anything like that? So BMW Roadside Assist advised, obviously, due to health and safety and everything like that, that they could not attend because he was in the middle of, well, 3 active lanes of traffic. They couldn't come out until the police were on scene and diverting traffic about, etc, etc. So what we did, or what I did, I put my little one to bed, shot into my 335 and got to him as safely and as quickly as I possibly could do. By then the traffic was, I mean, there was temporary lights there already, so it was not fair to say that he caused all this traffic, but the traffic was absolutely chock-a-block. I went behind him, obviously put hazard lights on to make sure that everything was safe and sound. Make sure I get this corner right. God, this thing is very long. But yeah, you know, just parked up and I thought, right, I'm going to jump in, see if there's any. I mean, because I've got some technical background. I did used to work as a technician, so I just thought I'd have a go, see if there's anything that, you know, past experiences, etc, etc. I'm sure I can say that word right, etc. Yeah, so past experiences, see if there's anything I can do to just try and diagnose anything, or see if I can get the car going. But would it go? No, it wouldn't. I even got onto the phone to my my good friend Andrea Rollini. I'm sure some of you YouTubers will have heard of him. He's been in a few of Joe Achilles' videos as well. Rang him, he rang one of the master techs of BMW, and the faults that were being thrown up were a drivetrain fault and a fuel supply fault. And then reading into that, it sounds like there is a known fault on them, that is the fuel pump. So I thought, Okay, right, possibly the fuel pump. That would explain why. It sounds so nice, this car. Yeah, so obviously it could potentially be that, but unfortunately there was nothing we could do. You turn it on, and obviously I'm sure that some of you will know, when you press the start button, it wakes the car up and you put your foot on the brake and press again and it fires the car up. However, it just kept shutting the car off. There was nothing we could do. The gearbox was locked, it couldn't move. So obviously when we just had to wait. The police were there in attendance, two lovely PCSOs, bless them, community support officers. They were absolutely, there was so much fun, and if they ever get to watch this video, sorry for making you miss your Chinese, but yeah, they were just absolutely brilliant. They you know, just so understanding to the situation. Yeah, hats off to them, you know, and again, sorry. But yeah, we waited for the recovery truck to turn up, and then the moment it turned up, I am going to have a bit of a moan now, and excuse me if I'm going to sound like a bit of an old man, but BMW Roadside Assistance, sort out the recovery agents that you are using, because this bloke turned up, and no fault to him whatsoever. He was such a lovely guy, but he didn't have the equipment that he needed to be able to move the M2. The gearbox was locked, it wouldn't move. The only thing, or the only way in which that car was going to move, was by jacking the back up and putting the wheel trolleys underneath it to then be able to push it. He started to get the winch out, and at that point, obviously Andrea Rollini, he'd come up and just, you know, stayed with us, kind of thing. We both shouted, no, whoa, what are you doing? And he said, I'm gonna have to drag it on because there's no way of starting the car and moving it out of it. I said, well, if you do that, you're gonna snap the gearbox, with it being DCT. So obviously we had to go through the room while finding some wheel trolleys and doing all that, blah blah blah. But in the end, we get it to our local BMW dealership, and so far, this shows you how long it's been since I've had any form of mechanical interference with any form of car in a helpful way. It turns out it's the ECU, so the ECU potentially needs replacing if they can't recode it and get that error out. So again, there will be an update on that when we come to pick it up. I'll make sure that I'll do a pick-up video, and, you know, a nice little video of the M2 as well, because it is a beautiful car. But again, it's not taken away from anything from BMW. You know, things happen, and yeah, BMW Roadside Assistance were fantastic. The first gen was a little bit narked, a little bit like, well, we can't do nothing until we got the police out. I'm basically just put the phone down. So, but then you speak to a couple more people, and they were just as helpful as can be. They were just absolutely fantastic, and you know, we managed to get the car to the BMW dealership. They are looking into it as we speak. Obviously think it's the ECU, which is going to need to go to Germany to get a new one, because they are chassis ordered, they're not a generic part. Again, been very lucky that we managed to sort that. But and then we've been given this 840, and you sort of look at the car and you think, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. I'm into M cars, stuff like that, and you know, bearing in mind this car is almost £90,000. It's not a cheap car, but it's got some presence. It's got something about it that I've fallen in love with, and you know, to be fair, it's a big car. There's not much space in the car whatsoever, and you know, well, I say there's not much space in the car. There's plentiful room in the front, but in the back, I like to sit quite low down in the car. There's not much. I mean, there's probably like half an inch of leg room in the back, with how I'm sitting at the moment. So it's not a proper fully fledged 4-seater car, but again, big but. For something to take down to the south of France, or you know, do a long distance journey around Europe, or you know, take to Germany, go down the autobahn. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. It's so comfortable. Let's go. And that engine, you can just hear it from that. Does that not sound? And I'm really hopeful that you can hear it on or through this, just to be able to hear it. It is absolutely fantastic. It sounds amazing, and yeah, it looks amazing too. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but yeah, I think going off the back of, you know, the M2 to this, it's a bit of a different animal altogether. It's something that's comfortable. You can do a lot of miles in it, and it won't be a lot of effort. And you know, the spec in these now are just absolutely amazing. All touchscreen navigation. We've got all digital dashboard. The ambient lighting in this is brilliant. I'm hopefully going to try and get some clear enough shots of it while the light is starting to go down now. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm an absolute fan. To say that you know, you shouldn't really cock your nose up at a car when you get it, but you have preconceived conceptions of, you know, of certain items. It can be the same with a phone. You know, a new Samsung comes out, and you know, I'm a big iPhone Apple lover, and you just think, no, not a fan of that. But again, you just don't know, do you? Yeah, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. Huge shout out to, you know, BMW UK for sorting this. It's a courtesy car while the car's getting sorted, and just to experience, you know, one of their flagship cars. The for a 2-ton GT Cruiser convertible. It's got a beautiful engine. It sings, sounds beautiful, looks amazing. It's got some proper presence. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. And guys, you know, obviously all these videos, I'm trying to bring a bit of a personal opinion approach. You know, with sort of like, obviously, you know, I'm a father of 2 little girls. In terms of this car, I couldn't have this car for, you know, ferrying around the girls all the time, because one, there's nowhere near enough space in the back for 2 girls, especially with car seats and everything like that. And the boot is, you could get a nice weekend bag in there, but yeah, we tell me what you think in the comments. As you can see, I'm a bit speechless, because when I first started with this, I just thought, this is probably going to be a bit of a rant about BMW Roadside Assistance, a bit of a rant about the fact that, you know, I don't sound ungrateful, but it's not an M car. But I like to be surprised by, you know, everyday cars. Well, not everyday cars, but cars in general. I like to be surprised. And BMW, hats off to you. Fabulous machine. And yeah, guys, thanks again for watching the video. If you've been watching Driving Dad, make sure you subscribe. We've got loads more content in mind. Obviously, I'm sorry this video is taking a bit longer to film, but yeah, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. But guys, stay safe. See you again soon. Cheers.